spend some more time on your guys' questions and the like, which is always a decent way to go. Yeah, Jackie, we'll look into it for you today. April, will you look in the chat and see what's going on with Jackie, why they haven't gotten back to Jackie? I don't know what that might be about. Okay, it's all live, it's all hitting. So for those that don't know me, my name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that for, guys, 6 years now, I think, almost 7. So that's been an incredible journey. And yeah, where am I going? My mind's not in the service zone. So what we normally do on these videos is we play a video that's sort of like a high level demo that explains who we are, what we do. And then I usually come back after that video, rant for a bit, and then we get directly into the Q&A, your questions. It can be about anything that we do, prices, software, printing, this, that, or the other, or the marketing, or it can be about where you are in your business, some things that you might be struggling with, or that you need help with, or you need advice on, or any of the above. Why would you want to take advice from me? I've been doing digital marketing for art and photography for a very long time now, and we have 4,500 customers, and so I get to see the data on 4,500 people, some of which have very significant art businesses, and so I know what works. Very good idea of what works, and what doesn't too, which is equally important. So I think what I'll do is I'll jump sort of right into a hasty screen share. We, in the last, I think it's 2 weeks, let's say, and I got to make sure I can find the right tab here. In the last 2 weeks, we have essentially completely updated our homepage, the homepage of the blog anyway, which I'll show you now. And if you click on any of these videos, it's basically me, giving an in-depth description of all the various different pieces, types, that constitutes what Art Storefronts is and what we do. I forgot to do it over here. Let me just get this ready. Bear with me 1 second, folks. And everyone thinks that we're just a website company, and we are so much more than a website company. And before I get into talking about the website, I would just say, fundamentally, at the end of the day, Art Storefronts, what do we do? We try to create the best, call it ecosystem, call it, I guess ecosystem probably is the best way to say it, such that we give you everything you need. Start, run, and grow a successful art business. Our business, fundamentally, Art Storefronts as a business grows if we have successful customers. So if you need to create successful customers, if that's actually the problem you're solving for, how can we as a business create the set of conditions that make it as easy as possible and as efficient as possible for an artist, for a photographer to build a big, healthy online, offline art business? And so, while it was a website to fix that at the very beginning up front, it's since morphed into quite a bit more than that, because a website is not enough. If you're someone that's already significantly selling a decent amount of art on your website a year, then right out of the gates, the website will help you tremendously. If you're someone that's not doing that, you don't have a website problem. It's not your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is a marketing problem. So I'll go through a couple of the features high level, which is kind of fun. But we've been at this for a long time, and we believe that our web software is as advanced as it comes online for selling art. We have more features and tools that are art-specific selling features than anyone else out there. And, that's not hyperbole. It's just a fact. We do. And the thing about buying art as it sells online is it's like an extremely friction-filled process, and it's also an extremely visual process. And so, knowing that there's all that friction, our job in creating web software to sell art and photography online is to try to remove as much friction from the system as possible. So that's all we do. And friction can be thought of all the various different things that happen in a web transaction where somebody shows up on your site and they stop. They can't visualize the piece on their wall. They don't know the difference between the media types. Any of those types of things that would make them leave your site without buying are what we call friction. And in the art buying process, boy, is there a lot of it. There is just a lot of it. Art is not like selling other things online. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or golf clubs. So at a high level, that's essentially what our web software does. It's like, how can you create a bunch of different individual little features such that you remove friction from the process? Like little things, you mouse over canvas, the thing changes to a canvas. It seems small, but it's little things like that that get it done. What about the people that don't have any idea what a canvas print is? Well, we give you one-click toggle-level videos that explain every single solitary media type, what they look like, so that they can start to visualize what these pieces are going to look like, and potentially what they're going to look like on their wall. We've got a wall preview tool, and what the wall preview tool allows you to do. Oh, I see the feed is not. Bear with me for 1 sec, guys. I'm sorry. What the wall preview tool allows you to do is essentially change the size of the piece, change the type of room that you've got. You can even upload your own rooms here if you're so inclined, and of course, you can change the color on the wall. And all these paint colors here are the best colors from Benjamin Moore and Sherman Williams, I think. So that looks atrocious. So the yellow is probably not a good call. Um, in addition to that, we have one other feature that everyone talks about that's pretty snazzy, and I'll explain it here quickly with the video. But we have what's called live preview with AR. And so this on the right is a cell phone. Somebody can come to your website with a cell phone. They don't have to download any apps or software or anything else. And what it does is it allows them to use the camera on their phone, and then through augmented reality, your piece is inserted directly into their room. So you can see this is a real room, a real cell phone, and you're able to step the piece up and down with a camera in a real room, move it up, size. Does it go with my decor? Does it go with the color? And they can take screenshots of it. They can send it to significant others, whatever the case may be. And extremely powerful feature to get a sale over the line. Sometimes, like the augmented reality, can really significantly help. But we have just an entire suite of features, and like it's literally hundreds of them. It's why we do the demo process, because it takes like about an hour to run through and see all of them. And the dirty little secret is I've been a digital marketer and an e-commerce marketer my entire career. Everyone thinks it's like one snazzy feature. It's never one snazzy feature. Okay, it's the sum total of all of them working together for you. It's like, yeah, the media browsers can really help. Yeah, the media type videos can really help. Yes, the wall preview can really help. But sometimes it's something as simple as email it to a friend, right? Or save the favorites, and they can make a favorites on your site and come back later. So when you have all of these features, all it attempts to do is remove that friction from the art buying process. Okay. Um, Next, I should pivot to printing because the printing is important. First of all, you can do whatever you want. Okay. We don't make any rules in terms of art storefronts. If you're an artist that is just creating originals, that's all you do. Well, obviously, if you sign up with us and you get an order, you're going to have to ship and fulfill that product because you're the one that has it. If you've got a local printer that you like, you can keep using the local printer. Totally okay with that. You can get an order on your site. You can send that order to your local printer. Your local printer can print it and ship it and be done with it. What we do offer, though, is what's called automated fulfillment. And I go over it in a little bit more detail on this page, on the homepage. But we essentially have two print partners, East Coast, West Coast, Bay Photo, Graphic Dimensions. They have every media type. They have all the printers, all the inks. So you're not limited to really anything. We integrate with a different one for Canada because there's issues with Canadians taking Canadian orders and taxes and such. And then we're integrated with a company called Guten on the merch side. And I'll get into the merch side in just a second, which I think is really interesting. But what happens is you get an order, you get paid, the printer gets paid, your logo gets slapped on the side of the box. They ship the order to your customer. You touch absolutely nothing, nothing at all. It takes 1 second to integrate. You can pick which particular print partner you want to use, and off it goes. It's that simple, and that's really what we advocate most of our customers do, because spending your time, energy, and effort on printing is it's a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. Anything, if you're dealing with the admin or driving down to the print shop and looking at what's coming off the printer or packing it up or sending tracking numbers or dealing with that customer service, all of that is time you're spending that you're not spending on your marketing, which is not something we like. And then you need all the time you can to spend on your marketing. And then most recently, we integrated with a company called Guten, and we're adding a ton more products as it goes. And so you can do hooded sweatshirts or phone cases or tank tops or throw pillows. He's actually been selling a tremendous amount of these Santa throw pillows, believe it or not, which is pretty wild. T-shirts, mugs. We're adding a whole bunch of other ones too, and puzzles. We've got gift cards now. Calendars, and on the calendars they can pick their own images, so you don't even have to like curate it yourself. They can just go on your site, pick the 12 pictures they want, get their own calendar if they like. And, you know, I get some people are like, merch, this is cheap. I don't like it. I don't want to list it. Totally fine. If you don't want to touch it, you don't want to touch it. If you do, we make it available. We want to have more and more and more and more stuff like that available. And I think, one of the big learnings since we integrated with these guys is, at the end of the day, all of you guys as artists and photographers, you're sort of inventors, right? You invent things, and out of thin air, out of whole cloth, you create them. And then you potentially, if you want to have a big business, your next job is to sell them. And so why wouldn't you want to have the availability of all these other various different product types such that you can sell your imagery, right? Like, it's just selling your imagery. So again, some people are like, I can't stand the merch, it's terrible. Some people are all about it. We don't care. But if it proffers an opportunity for an artist, a photographer to make more money from their talent, we're pretty interested in it. And you can do what he did here, which is, you can see he's got his regular media types, and then below, he's got his merch. You can combine them all like that in one product item. Or if you just want to have a phone case, you can just add a phone case to your store and nothing else. You can try it for a week, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on and off at any point in time. Separate different images, however you want to do it. It's all available. It's all there for you. So we've been pretty pleased with how it's going so far, and we're going to continue to add more and more and more. We're negotiating now on photo books, and I know the photo books are a difficult one because they're expensive and nobody wants to buy a bunch of them. How can we just make them print on demand so you don't have to have any order, drop ship if you like? So we're working on that. And we're negotiating with that right now, and we're certainly not going to stop because we believe that there's just, again, we want to create the set of circumstances that make it as easy as possible for as many artists, photographers as possible to have success. Some are going to sell a lot of merch, some are not. So that's where we are in the merch. Going back to what else, and it's really funny because I have all of these stats on these videos, right? And I have like 15 of them on this page that explain everything. And the back end software, no one cares about, so I'm just not even going to cover it. We have a bunch of tools in the back end that make running an art business a lot easier, basically saving you time. That's the back end software. Support, no one clicks on the support video either. Makes me think like support is just not a problem. Support is a huge problem. The last thing you want is a website where you have to search Google to figure out how to do something, or search in some forum. So we have really good support, email, phone, chat. And then just like this Zoom session that we're on now, we run multiple of those a week. They're actually 6 days a week. So you could be having an issue with, whatever support related item issue that you're having. And you could pop right into a Zoom just like this. You can share your screen. The Zoom operator can take control of it, get you unstuck, get you back to your marketing. So I think it's a pretty awesome way to do things. And in addition to that, we're going to get into the marketing in a second. We're actually supporting applications that are not even our own. So say you're having a problem with Facebook, you can actually jump into a Zoom session and one of our agents will help you with Facebook or Instagram or your email marketing platform. Having a problem with MailChimp, can't figure something out, go attend one of those sessions, they'll get you unstuck. So I think that's pretty groundbreaking, revolutionary. But at the end of the day, every single solitary person on this call, and I know this just conclusively because A, I've been running hundreds of these, and B, I have hundreds of photographers and artists. You all have a marketing problem. Every single solitary one of you to a human. And it's not going away. The people that have over $500,000 a year in sales all have a marketing problem. The ones over $1 million a year all have a marketing problem. Like, marketing is the single solitary biggest aspect of running a successful photo or art business in today's day and age, especially in the COVID times that we live in. So, this is probably the biggest secret sauce of our entire offering, if you like, is we essentially have a full-blown art business university. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. You pay a tuition when you join, and the learning never stops. It never stops. It just keeps going and going and going. Quickly, we have playbooks, which are the digital online learn at your own pace education product. Nothing new, revolutionary there, but ours are very good. Ours are very good at just selling art. How to run a sale, how to run a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, how to do email marketing, how to go live on Facebook, how to go live on Facebook and Instagram at the same time, what software to use, how do you deal with comments, how do you run a live art show. All of these things we have playbooks for, step by step, audio, video tutorials, extremely in-depth, getting updated all the time. We have a 365-day-a-year calendar marketing plan. I keep forgetting to toggle this button. It goes from beginner, intermediate to advanced, and it tells you what you should be doing 365 days a year. Not kidding. When to run a sale, what language to use, what email template language you can copy and paste, adjust it for what you do, how to do regular marketing throughout the course of the year. Again, we're all going to run a live art show, how to run a flash sale. If there is a corresponding playbook that dovetails with that marketing calendar entry, obviously it'll be there and it'll be linked. And everybody does the best they can. You start at the beginner level, you take on as much as you can, and you slowly work your way up to the advanced level. Do we have people that are making over $500,000 a year in sales that follow the marketing calendar verbatim? We do, straight up. Some people in between like to color a little bit outside of the lines, which is totally okay. It's your business, not ours, but it's there for you at all times. And I think, what's most important about it is actually what it tells you to ignore. Okay. There's a whole lot of shiny objects out there that an artist or a photographer can work on and waste time on, and they do not work. Okay. And I know this because I'm good at marketing, number one. And number two, I've got the data on 4,500 plus customers. Okay. If I saw something working, i.e. Pinterest, I would see the traffic from Pinterest turning into a tremendous amount of sales. Guess what I don't see? Any traffic from Pinterest turning into sales in any meaningful way across my 4,500 customers. So I don't want anyone wasting their time on Pinterest. So I will tell you conclusively, if you are marketing on Pinterest, stop. You have other things that are higher ROI that you can do. So I love that about the calendar. Workshops, also awesome. Zoom calls just like these. We split our customer base into threes. If you have yet to sell above $2,000 in product on your site, you're in the beginner group. If you sold over 2,000, you're in the intermediate group. If you sold over a much, much higher revenue threshold, we have the advanced group. Once a week, week in, week out, we have a Zoom session. We go over the calendar. We give you updates. We talk about what's going on, what we're advocating you do in terms of marketing. Oftentimes there's live tutorials, and then it's opened up for full-blown Q&A. You can ask any question about any aspect of your business. All of our community chips in the chat and helps out, and you have access to our marketing experts in perpetuity. And we run one of these sessions a week for each group, week in, week out. You can go to the beginner one, and you can go to the intermediate one if you're so inclined, and see both of them. We also have the secretary in every single solitary Zoom session. So when you can't attend that day, you get an email from us in which the secretary has taken timestamped notes, and it's directly below the YouTube video. And so we say, hey, Patricia, here's the top 5 things that you missed. Okay. These are the high level things I want you to see. And all you have to do is just go click on those in YouTube, and it'll automatically throw you to all those places, and you don't have to waste any time. And so whether you can attend or not, you get all that high level teaching. And to be honest with you, we launched that 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, the first wave of it. And it's been the biggest game changer our business has ever seen, because nobody likes to do their marketing, and nobody likes to learn about doing marketing in a vacuum where you don't have live one-on-one teaching with an instructor and multiple of your peers. And everyone's asking questions. Everyone's learning from one another. People are coming on and talking about their wins. Hey, I sold 16 pieces to an interior designer. It was the biggest sale I ever made. How did you do it? It all started with this Facebook post. We look at the Facebook post. Then I followed up with this email text. You can download the email text. So it provides a really pretty incredible learning opportunity and group learning. Rising tide lifts all boats. It's really positive in there. Being an artist or a photographer is no different than being any other entrepreneur. Roller coaster of emotions, highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows. When you're down low, it is really helpful to have a whole bunch of people lifting you back up. Stop it. Don't stress. This is totally normal. That's exactly where I was in the second year of my business. Keep going, keep working. So it's been motivating and inspiring on a number of different levels. And even more so too, when somebody gets a big win, and then you can actually see everything that they did to go get the big win. It's, yes, inspiring, but B, you have access to all the tools plus them telling you the story. So it's like, go out and repeat it, right? Go out and repeat it. It's what's working. We also have a private Facebook group that is highly curated. We're contributing in all the time. Members can ask other members questions about various different aspects of their business. And that's a really great experience too, because we have artists and photographers from all over the world in every niche imaginable. And so a lot of times, like the people that are specialized in pets, dog and cat art, are sharing what's working in their world, right? Or, pre-COVID, everybody post your booth setup, right? And what's the best place to get a booth? And can I rent one? And all those sorts of things that are possible with a really good community that are all trying to grow a successful business. So that's pretty awesome. Finally, like 4 months ago, we launched a full-on in-house marketing agency. It's an in-house marketing agency that specializes on one thing and one thing only: helping artists and photographers sell more art. That's it. I believe already, not kidding when I say this, 4 months in, that it's the biggest art and photography selling direct marketing agency in the entire world, which is, it's not really saying much in all honesty, because none of them exist. No one has been able to even tell me, hey, do you know a marketing agency that just specializes in helping artists or photographers sell art? If anyone knows, please tell me in the chat or tell me in the comments in the Q&A later. They don't exist. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a whole bunch of these like individual art gurus, right? That have a private Facebook group and teach things a little bit, but you don't see any marketing agencies for artists and photographers. It's really weird. And it's really weird because selling art and photography is really hard, right? It's a really hard thing to do. And unless you focus on it and specialize on it and have the data, you're going to try to market it like other products. And that's just not the way that it works. So what does it do? It does everything from, you can have your entire website set up. So you don't even have to build the website at all. You drop a folder. Here are my images. Here are the descriptions. You build the website. I don't want to do it. They can handle your Facebook ads. They can one-off services like spruce up your Facebook or your Instagram account. They can completely run your Facebook and Instagram ads. They can help you with email campaigns, or they can post regularly on social. We just keep adding more and more and more services. And the best part about it is we don't ever need the marketing agency to be profitable. If it breaks even, it's a huge win, right? Why? Because our customers end up becoming more successful and they refer us more often, right? And they do a higher clip of business and we get a transaction fees on that. In addition to that, yes, there's a marketing agency inside. Yes, we are not the cheapest product off the shelf. So, the last thing that I ever want is anyone to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to pay these people for a website and to learn to market and I got to pay them for marketing services. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what's so amazing about it is I now have an extensive team that, for instance, I've got one guy that's just working artist Instagram profiles and he's got like 50 of them going at a time. Well, guess what happens? He learns amazing things. And guess what happens to those amazing things? They go right back into our playbooks and we teach them for free and they're their DIY. So, if you're in a situation where you want to learn, you want to do it all on your own, God bless you, by the way. I love that. That's how I wish 100% of my customers would do it, because it makes so much sense to learn it all and do it yourself and get your hands in the dirt, right? But like all things in life, we have an 80-20. 80% of our customers are not full-time artists. They have day jobs. They're trying to build their business and they're trying to get there, but they've got a day job, right? The art and the photography is not there to take it over. So in those situations, like the fact that they can, go into the store and buy a thing of gasoline and pour it on the fire that is their business, make things go up a little bit, I'm really thrilled. I'm really enthused with it. So it's also just creating this amazing flywheel. Like I said, like we're getting better and better and better and learning more about Facebook ads and more about email campaigns and how it works for all these different artists and what email language to use. All of that gets built back into our playbooks, and the machine just keeps going forward and churning and churning and churning. And we're getting better and better and better at selling art and photography, both online and off, for that matter. So I think it's an amazing system. Again, we're like 4 months into it. We'll see where it ends up going, but I think we've served over 275, 280 customers at this point in time. So pretty amazing, pretty remarkable. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers who we are, what we do. It really is an entire ecosystem. It is so much more than a piece of software. And what else would I would say? I think too, we're growing quite a bit recently because it's a huge case of right place, right product, right time. The pandemic has just utterly, completely decimated the majority of offline revenue sources that most folks had. It doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon, which is definitely a little terrifying. But at the same time, there's so much to like about, call it the 10 years of normal technology adoption that got shrunk into 6 months. And it's a phenomenal time to be an artist, a photographer. You can sell direct. You can sell direct worldwide. You can keep 100% of the revenue rather than doing a 50-50 split with the gallery. You can be just as effective having live art shows in your house as you can going to a live art show, paying the booth fees, driving, setting up all that, staying in a hotel and all that. So it's just a remarkable time to be an artist, I think, which is not to say it's easy. No, you still have to do your marketing, right? And you have to do your marketing consistently for years to get to where you need to be. But yeah, it's fascinating. So I think at that point, I'll open it up to questions. You can literally ask anything about the software, anything about the marketing. We like to use this raise hand feature. You can see Ian's got it figured out already. You go in the participants window down below. You can click that, and then there's like a raise hand, or we have enough people on here. If I see you waving, I can grab you that way too. Or you can throw it in the chat, and then people are watching on Facebook and YouTube. You can ask in there, and I'm happy to answer those questions too. So Ian, let's start with you. I'm gonna unmute you. I'll let you know when you get your mic. Bottom left-hand corner. Yep, gotcha.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. I have to warn you, though, I spent the last hour and a half listening to Gary Vee, so I'm going to try really hard not to drop any F-bombs, but
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
I'm a huge fan too.
Excellent. So I have 3 questions for you.
Mhm.
About 5 weeks ago, I built my first Facebook page. I thought, you know what, it's time to get serious and build an audience.
Mhm.
So I don't have much of an audience, but I'm up to 230 followers, and I feel like, I'm getting a little bit of traction, maybe 50 to 100 followers a week. I think I've
Yep.
got that figured out. I got my first sale last week from someone who I've never met before. And they
Boom.
reached out and said,
Boom. I love
"Hey, I
that.
like this. Can I buy it?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, you can." And then we had
Yeah.
to figure out pricing, but that was great validation. So I think I need to do that old adage of like, what scares you? Why aren't you doing it? Right.
Yes.
So I think it's time to run my first sale so that I can fund my art storefront membership.
Yes.
And I just have 3 questions about how I might successfully do that. So the first one is I don't have an email list yet. And
Yep.
so I think I should launch a giveaway. And I'm wondering, would a weekly or monthly print giveaway be better? That's my first question.
Yeah. So, and I'll ignore your question completely and just
Okay.
go right to where I think it should be. Are you an artist or photographer?
Photographer.
Have you ordered your work various different media types yet?
Saving up for it.
Okay. It does not need to be anywhere near as expensive as you think it is, and I'm going to go through it live. Just
Okay.
give me a second. Okay. I got to grab this
Please.
stack. It'll just be a second. The merchandising is so important, right? And everyone takes it for granted because most people think like, oh, I'm selling a 2D image. It's like, no, you are not selling a 2D image. What you are selling is the finished product that ends up on somebody's wall, right? So
Right.
as I rattle through this, I think this is what every and I use a green screen when I do this, so it makes these things look a little bit circusy. Just gotta deal with it. You need a fine art paper, okay? You can get away with just one. This one's framed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're able to show it. You're able to talk about it. It's a textured watercolor paper. For you, it could just be a photo paper. And you need a gallery wrapped canvas. You need to be able to show the gallery wrapped canvas. You need to be able to talk about it. You need to be able to talk about the fact that it's ready to hang. It has these little felt bumpers. You can hang it right on the wall without any frame at all, or you can get it framed. Now, notice the size on these, by the way. Extremely small, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're extremely small because I believe in the times that we're living in, this is the most effective way to sell art, what we're doing right now, in person, face to face, on video, right? And so you have to have the media types. You have to be able to talk about them and articulate them. Excuse me. Next is metal. Come on, camera. Oh, there it is. Next is metal, also ready to hang. And by the way, just because it's small doesn't mean you can't use the advanced zoom in features on your webcam, which really comes down to an arm moving closer to the camera, right? So, you can show the details. So metal, acrylic, also important, also really expensive, which is awesome because you can get a higher unit price out of it. And then I even recommend wood. Wood is actually moving well. It's like 3/4 inch maple. That whole stack that I just went through, you could get for $150.
Wow.
You could get for
Okay.
$150. And now you have samples, okay? And right. Once you have samples, and this is the analogy that I always use, and it's so important. It's like, okay, Ian, if I hired you I was in the knife business, right? And I make some of the best knives in the world. If I hired you to go door to door selling knives, what would you take with you?
I would take some knives.
You'd take some knives, right? You would
Yeah.
not take a catalog of knives
No.
because then you're just fighting with one arm behind your back. You got to have the finished product, right? You got to have the
Right.
finished product, and you got to see if you can get rid of it. So once
Okay.
you solve that, much better position. And if you don't have a local printer, April put the link in the chat. It's essentially a nonsense website that we send up. You could use our printers. It goes to, I can't remember if it goes to Bay Photo. I think it goes to Graphic Dimensions, the one on the East Coast. But you can get this small order in. Like, pick your 5 to 7 best images. And I know you don't have data, so you don't know, but just educated guess, you know, bring the wife in on the decision process, whatever it takes, you know, your friends, and get, you know, each one has a different image so that you can show it off, right? And like I said, you can spend $150 on that and you've got them. Once that's solved, much better place. Now, problem
Fair
two,
enough.
you still need the attention, right? So how are you gonna figure out the attention? And you know, it's so interesting because early on when you're getting started, there's for sure a chicken and an egg situation, right? Like, I can't sell my art until I get it in front of eyeballs, but I don't have any damn eyeballs. What am I going to do, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I recommend in this scenario, like if you had any sort of decent following on Facebook or Instagram, full stop, it would be you're going to go live, you're going to have the live art show, you're going to go through exactly what I was talking about. Hey guys, being that we're in wave 2 of the pandemic, I've decided I'm going to try and launch my art business. So what I want to do is show off a couple of the pieces. I want to talk about them. I want to articulate them. You mark them up 250%. You let them know. Because it's the pandemic, everything else, maybe you need a new Zoom background. Maybe you need whatever. I'm trying to get this business launched. Help me out, right? Send me a DM on Instagram, text me, whatever. Early on, you know, like if you have a personal Facebook page and you've had one, do you have one of that or no?
I do.
You do.
But I never really used it much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. But that's the easiest way, right? Like you just you use what you have. But you know, I use this analogy, right? Like I work out with a trainer and you know a group of dudes from like 5 to 7 dudes. And what you find is that when you do this and you do a whole bunch of different exercises, no matter who's the fittest, everyone seems to have like one event they can just kick butt at, right? Like one guy can just do push-ups faster than anyone, and he just smokes me, destroys me. Like I'm pretty good on running hills and doing stairs and that kind of stuff. So I win in that department. Others win when they're doing the high knees and everything else. And I bring that up because we all have these events that we're really, really good at, right? Well, we all, where we live geographically, usually have some sort of a something, okay, that is unique to us that we can leverage in this situation. And let me give you the for instance. Every Saturday and Sunday, I drive a little bit further for my coffee because this place has really good cinnamon rolls and my kids love them. And so that's just the thing. And on that drive, I go down this main thoroughfare. And every single solitary Saturday and Sunday, this guy's got his garage open. All of the easels are set up all over his driveway because he's on a high traffic thoroughfare, right? So that's his thing that he's got, right? Maybe your wife works at a social media agency and the account's got 10,000 followers and they want to do an art giveaway, right? You have to kind of step back and say like, I need to get some attention to be able to get this thing going. If I have zero attention, what can I do about that? And I think that's when you look and you see like, what do you have that's unique to you? We all have friends. We all have families. They all have something or other here or there. Maybe you do live in the right part of town, right? Like, you know, my one buddy, Amzy, who used to come on these things all the time, he's since signed up. He's like, he lives in New Orleans, like right outside of the French Quarter. Well, guess what? It's pretty damn easy to just set up on one of the corners, play music, and try and sell your art that way. So you have to kind of like look and see what you have that's unique to you, who could potentially do you a solid to get it launched and give it a shot. But you got to get the art in front of people, not named mom, dad, sister, brother, right?
Right.
To know for sure that it'll sell. Once it sells, then at that point in time, it's just got to do that marketing. Got to take that Facebook page from 200,000. Got to take the email list from 0 to 10,000 to 15,000 to 500,000, right? That's the game.
Fair enough. One last question on that, if I may, and you've been very generous with your time, so thanks.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I'll absolutely step back and reconsider how I can get creative about getting my stuff out in front of people. But I'm still obviously going to continue working to growing my online presence. I think I've got a strategy for pretty quickly getting to 1,000 followers and maybe a couple hundred email addresses. Is that enough traction to do a live sale? If you have 1,000 Facebook?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the
Okay,
reality is that you could do, if you have one person on that live stream that is a qualified buyer, it is a good use of your time.
Okay.
It's a good use of your time. 1-to-1. Yes, you prefer it to be 1-to-many, but 1-to-1 is just fine. Just fine.
All right. At least I get some reps in. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Patrick, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Ian. Merry Christmas.
And to you.
Okay. What was Carla? How many hours a week does it take to follow the marketing calendar? Yeah, I love that question. And people always get wrapped up in that question. And I've been doing this a long time, so I get to flip it completely on its head. It's less about how many hours a week it is. You do what you can do. It's more about giving me 52 weeks a year of the consistency. You only have 2 hours a week to spend? Fine. Give me 2 hours a week, 52 weeks in a row. That's what moves mountains. That's what gets things going. Everyone thinks like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to do the marketing. How could I possibly do the marketing? You do what you can. You literally do what you can. If you do it consistently and you're not wasting time on nonsense that doesn't work, it's pressure over time. It's just pressure over time. And guess what? It sucks in the beginning. I'm sorry, it does. Year one sucks. It's a grind, right? You feel like you're walking uphill constantly, but it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if it's Ian, it's me, Patricia. Do you know how an email list is built? One email at a time. Do you know how a social following is built? One follower, one fan at a time, right? And it just takes time. So, you don't stress about it. You do the best you can do, and you do it consistently. And that's the deal. And we have people that full-time work on their marketing, and we have people that have an hour or two a day that they or a week that can throw it into it. Doesn't matter. Just give it to me consistently. I'll make sure you're working on the good stuff. And the other great thing too is that for most of you guys, and for most of our customer base too, digital marketing is the foreign language to you, right? And so there's a lot to learn there. There's the cognitive load of all these new apps, this new software, what we're asking you to do. And man, it's damn overwhelming in the beginning. I'm sorry, it just is, right? Like we have so many customers that come on board that are like, this is overwhelming. Like I feel like this is Chinese. I do not want Mandarin. I do not know what's going on here. Like I'm pulling my hair out of my head. And then 3.5 months later, they'll come back on. They'll be like starting to pick up a little steam. It's like, aha, huh? Yeah, it takes a little time, but you figure it out. You get better, and you add more layers to it, right? Like you don't have to do everything at once right out of the gates, right? Like what we teach is very advanced, cutting edge marketing. A lot of moving pieces, one step at a time. You just break it down one step at a time, and you go at it. And you get better and better and better. So, more than anything, I would say the vast majority, again, I've been doing this a long time and I've seen everything under the sun. The vast majority of artists and photographers fail, okay? Not because they don't know how to do the marketing primarily, but because what happens is this is going to be my year. They get really motivated, they get fired up. They're like, I'm going to do it. And they start posting on Facebook regularly or whatever they think is going to be they're emailing regularly. They start having sales regularly. And then they go like, 2 months, no sales, 3 months, maybe 6 months, 1 or 2 sales. And they're like, this is just not working. They quit. And no one's given them the perspective of how long it takes to actually grow a business. Okay. It takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in today's day and age. I didn't say that, Steve Jobs did, but it's true. It takes a long time, right? Like you need to have the perspective of how long it takes to build a successful business. Once you have the perspective that's been properly aligned, then you're in a good place. I mean, I'll flip it on its head and give you an even wackier way of thinking about it. Okay. And then Jackie, I'll get your question. Why do we charge as much as we do? Why do we constantly move people to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5-year deals? Because you know what it is? It requires you to burn the boat. When you cross the river and you burn the damn boat, there's no going back, right? You have it in your head, I'm going to make this business work. And so what that does is it puts into your head the proper perspective of how long it's going to take. Like, look, you are not quitting this after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, right? Like you are going to stay at it, stay grinding, keep going. For some, and we have all kinds, right? Like, high and low. For some, they'll barely sell anything in the first year. Some do really well. The bell curve in the middle is really what it is. But it's like, okay, you only sold $5,000 in your first year. Guess what? That's okay. That's normal. Guess what's going to happen next year? You're probably going to hit 15 or 20 or 25. Guess what's going to happen after the year after that? You're going to keep going up and up. So the perspective is just key. You got to have the perspective of how long it takes in today's day and age. And so few people do. But okay, over to you, Jackie. I'll let you know. You're going to have to hit the microphone bottom left. Yep, gotcha.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I was going to turn the camera on, but I can't get to it for some reason.
That's all
But
good.
anyway, thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, my
I
pleasure.
have a question about when you do set up the website,
Yes.
the images that, if I have you guys do it, the images that I provide, do they have to be in a certain format, such as RAW? I have images that are older, a
Hmm.
few years old, that aren't necessarily in that format.
Yeah, no,
I have
it doesn't need to be in RAW. They can just be JPEGs. Our system is really smart, and what it does is it'll, you give it the highest resolution you have, right?
Mhm.
And then it'll tell you how big you can go right out of the gates, and then you can just pick sizes based on that.
Okay, and is
Yeah.
that true then for images that you would provide for that customers could order as prints as well?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's a really nice system in the sense that, like, so, you can just kind of think of it as like a factory, right? Like, the image
Mhm.
comes in, our system grabs it and says, okay, you can go up to this size, and this is the smallest size. You just toggle which ones you want, toggle what media types you want, toggle if you want merchandise or not, save, done, right? Like, we've really simplified that part of the process of getting that all up, so it's not overwhelming and a pain in the butt, which is nice.
Great,
But yeah.
great. I talked to you last week and I was a little skeptical about the whole thing, but I thought about it a lot
Hmm.
during the week, and I'm so convinced that this is the way to go. So I'm really excited to and anxious to get started with you guys.
Yeah,
So
now
I
I mean, now's the time. Like,
yeah.
I think most of the people that are skeptical, and trust me, I'm well aware that it's our own lack of clearly articulating things, but like everyone thinks that the website is the problem. And somehow you get a new website, and it's like flipping a switch, fish just jumped in the boat. And what they don't realize is the website is not a problem until you have a bunch of traffic, right? Like, you have to have a bunch of traffic. Then a website that works really, really well will convert a bunch of it into sales. But that's independent of anything else. Your biggest problem is marketing. Okay. Your biggest problem is marketing. It is not going to change for the foreseeable future. It has just been made 10 times bigger of a problem because the offline revenue sources are smoked. The galleries,
Mhm.
toast. The fairs and shows, like, who knows? Is it going to be 2 years, 3 years until it comes back? Right? Like, are the galleries even going to come back at close the size and strength that they are? No chance. I mean, the malls are going to be going down. So I say all that to say, I know what it takes to grow a successful photo or art business. Is it easy? Absolutely not. It's not easy. Do you have to work on your marketing? Do you have to sell direct? Yes, you do. You start doing those, you start working on the tasks, and you're on the path to get there, right? And I do believe, with no sales pitch whatsoever in this, that we're the best at providing that right now online, period. Period.
Well,
Because we've got too many resources, and we're in a very unique place to help artists and photographers grow their business. It does not mean it's easy, though. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it.
right. Well, I've been at this a long time, so a
Yeah.
lot of years, and the one thing that I've never succeeded at is the marketing
Yeah.
aspect. So, and I've
Yeah.
tried it all.
Yeah.
And including going to school late in life, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And so, I, I'm more than happy to pay somebody to teach me how to market my own work. I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. And
So,
Jackie, it never ends, right? Like, the
right, no,
the problem is that the goalposts are not fixed. They are constantly moving. Okay.
yeah,
These social media sites are sadists. They like us
mm,
going nuts. They're just constantly updating and advancing and da 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 da. So you can't ever stop learning, right? Like, that's why we say the art business university, right? You get in, you pay the tuition, and the learning never stops. There's not ever any graduates. I think I
right.
stole that from
Well, they
somebody. I
don't
can't remember
teach
that.
this in art school
No, they don't. They
at
don't.
all.
And it
They
no,
won't even touch it. Yeah.
no, I know. And and it's the biggest problem. Fundamentally, it's the biggest problem, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
the future is DTC, right? Like, the fact that, like, and this is why I'm so happy about it, is like, I feel like the art and photography industries are having their massive disruption moment. Like, what do I mean? Netflix blockbuster, Uber versus taxis, right? Airbnb versus the hotel industry. Like, the model that was is being completely turned up inside its head, and it is all good for artists aside from the marketing piece. You keep all the money. You get to keep all your customer data, and you have the ability to market to that customer in perpetuity, right? And on and on and on. All of these things you can sell worldwide. You could do all of it without leaving the comfort of your home. All of that is awesome. It's phenomenal. It makes for such a better business for you guys, but you got to solve the marketing problem. And it's going to take years
Right.
to do that. But once you do that, and especially in your case, you've been selling art your entire life. you know your product is validated. You probably have some sort of a following. And we teach you, you've got old receipts and shoe boxes and the like. What do I do about that, right? If you didn't build an email list, we'll teach you all of that. And, you'll have a much better bit of momentum than most. Like, we have quite a few people that try to come on board and they've never sold their art before, sort of like Ian, right? Ian's got different problems to solve than you do, Jackie.
Well, I've been inactive for a few years, so I know I'm starting at ground zero again.
Yeah.
It's just I do have some experience, but I haven't tried to market for a few years.
Yeah.
So you get beat down with that. You can only put so
Oh,
much
for
time
sure.
in it and told no so many times, and eventually it's just you start believing the no's. And
Yes.
but
Yes.
yeah, I'm anxious to get started with you guys. So thank you so much, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. Like I said, April is sure already pinged our outreach team and said, "Why the heck haven't you called Jackie back?" We'll find out if for some reason we don't have your info, but we have your email address, so don't worry. We'll
Yeah.
get you there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and Carla's asking about, do you keep your current domain provider? Well, there's web hosts, and then there's where the domain lives, right? And for a lot of people, it's like GoDaddy. And yes, you keep it at GoDaddy. You just say GoDaddy, point to this art storefront site, and you do that. So, that's one of the other awesome things we do. You guys own everything. It's your URL. It's your email list. You're responsible for it. You own everything, right? Like, we're just custodians. We're helping you along the way, but the artist keeps everything. Like, sign up. And you get in a situation where you're not happy with us, guess what happens? You move your website somewhere else, you repoint that URL, and you keep all of your traffic, all of your SEO, all of your everything, because you own it all, which is how it should be, right? Like, the artist needs to own everything, right? You cannot be reliant on anyone but yourself. And that's been like one of the biggest lessons out of this whole pandemic is like, a whole bunch of people had essentially a black swan moment. Like, revenue sources that were totally consistent and totally awesome, just all of a sudden gone, poof. And if you had not worked on your digital marketing and you did not build an email list and you did not know how to run a sale, then you were in a tight spot. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Any other questions, comments? You can put them in the chat or you can raise a hand. Happy to answer them any which way you like. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. A-okay, any which way you slice it. No, nothing? Awesome. Nice and easy today. I'll take it. Yeah. So really exciting. I would say one other thing that we do, we have a show, we have a podcast and a show. It's pretty awesome. It's called Art Business Warnings, which is either me and the CEO or just me talking on a week out basis of what's going on in the art industry, what's working, what we're learning, all of those sorts of things. And we're about to do like a big wrap up on 2020, the lessons learned from 2020, and then what 2021 looks like. So highly recommend people subscribe and check that out. You can find it on Facebook, find it on YouTube. We've got a podcast too called the Art Marketing Podcast that you can subscribe to, all free, all really good, really awesome. Jamie O'Neill is asking me how important the lead capture feature is. Yes, it's important. Not if you're just getting started, it's not as important, but yes, it's important. And obviously we have one that's stitched into art storefronts, or you could even potentially use a third-party one. But yes, it's an important feature, without question. You need to be able to capture leads. Yeah, so that's it. I think that's what I got. Patricia says, I have a website. How does your clients reach you? So we teach you to market all year long. You will drive traffic to your website. We have, a number of different ways of going about that. And I'm looking at you. I might as well unmute you. Patricia, you can hit the mic thing down the bottom left. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we teach you to market all year long. Now we have some quote unquote hacky stuff to begin with that like centers on a new website launch and website giveaways that help you get started, help you get some momentum. But we teach you to drive traffic to that website all year long. All year long. And we have, a whole suite, a whole range of, techniques, hacks, tactics, traditional tried and true marketing stuff. And you start marketing and you build your email list, you build your social following, and you build a business. That's what we do.
And you're saying you go through GoDaddy. Can you explain that?
No, we don't go through GoDaddy. Like, let's just say it's patriciajuliana.com, right? And you own that domain. So wherever that domain lives, most people use GoDaddy, some people use register.com, some people, whatever. You just log
Right.
in and you point it at your art storefront site and it becomes patriciajuliana.com. That's it. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
if you have the URL. If you don't have the URL, then you need to buy one, but you use GoDaddy, whoever, and you map the URL as such.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you explain how much it costs for certain things, or is it just a complete tuition of the whole?
Yeah. So even on the lowest plan, okay, you get all of the marketing, right? And so the differences between plans is just bells and whistles of the software, additional bells and whistles of the software you get. I think the cheapest plan, which we're raising our prices, but this one's not going up, starts at $1,000, and I believe 59, 59.69, somewhere around there a month. And then you can upgrade at any point in time that you like, but that gets you in. And so you're on a monthly, but you have access to 100% of the marketing education. That'll never go away. So that's where it starts. And we do. Oh, Jamie's telling me it's $44 a month for the bronze plan. So there you go. I don't even know. So it's why we do the demo process. And April will put demo links in the chat, or you can go on our site. What happens is that someone from our outreach team calls you. They set up a 10-minute call. You can ask 10, 15 minutes, ask all the questions you want about this, that, and the other. Tell them about your business, all of those sorts of things. And then if you like, they'll schedule the full hour demo where you can see every bell and whistle and all that. Otherwise, they'll never call you again. We're not the pushy types in that department. So that's how we do that
Okay.
process. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Patricia. Okay, Carla. Yes, we do use MailChimp, and we do integrate with MailChimp also. That's correct. So, you get a contact, it automatically flows to MailChimp. And that's the service that we teach everybody to use because it's cheap, it's robust, and good back end. And so it works really well. So yes, we do integrate. Yeah. But yeah, okay. I think that covers it. I think we leave it there. Guys, thanks for attending. Huge happy holidays. You can come and join another one of these anytime you want. We run them 3 days a week. We'll email plenty. And yeah, any other questions, and you can find us online just about all day, every day. And yeah, thank you guys very much and hope to see you again soon.